What's going on, everybody? So this is a little bit of a weirder video, you know what I'm saying? We usually don't talk about topics like this here on the channel, but this one, man, is so disgusting. I think this one is so disturbing that in a way, man, like, attention kind of has to get brought to this one. This is absolutely insane, and I've noticed that in, I don't know, the last year or so, when it comes down to child exploitation, these massive companies really love to just defend themselves, you know? They love to defend the odd behavior, the stuff that is not, it's not socially acceptable to think or do these things. It's not socially acceptable to promote these things in any way, but for some reason these massive companies like love to stand behind it. I don't get it, bro. Like, the people running these things gotta be either weirdos or they're stupid, you know what I'm saying? So the first instance where something like this has kind of happened actually was years ago. I remember I made a video talking about this when it kind of happened. Twitter kind of just allowed, you know, weirdos to be on their website, right? You know, they didn't really want to do anything about it, and at that point, the map community, as they love to call themselves, aka the weirdos, okay, to say it in the most PG way possible, okay, we're kind of using the website to be oddballs, right? And of course, we watched as Netflix stood idly by and defended on several occasions their movie Cuties, which was probably one of the more disgusting pieces of media that could be created, to say the least. And then now Twitter is facing a lawsuit, okay? And, you know, this isn't anything new, right? Companies like this, they face lawsuits all the time. Well, why is this one special? Why is this lawsuit against Twitter noteworthy to begin with? Well, because Twitter apparently kind of pulled a Pornhub and decided that they were going to, like, prevent any action from being taken against content involving minors, which is the most tame way I can say that as well. So this is all taking place in the Northern District of California. The lawsuit was federally filed on Wednesday by the victim and his mother. It makes a slew of allegations against Twitter and also, unfortunately, describes a situation that, bro, like, I really don't even want to get too far into the details of. If you want to get into all of this and you want to really learn the details of this case, be advised, they're terrible. They're disgusting. I will leave the article linked below in the pinned comment. I'm going to try to remember that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to write that down. But so a few of the allegations made by this federal lawsuit: number one, alleges that Twitter made money off of clips involving a minor doing some very disgusting things, and was a form of child abuse material, or Club Penguin, CP Club Penguin, we'll call it. The teenager is unidentified, is 17-year-old, and now lives in Florida, so I guess this was a pretty life-altering experience. I'm not sure if this is the reason why they moved from California to Florida, but given the other details of it, it is a pretty good possibility, I would say. So, at the time, John Doe, which is the identifying name for the kid, was between 13 and 14 years old when people posing as 16-year-olds, I guess at a school, started talking to him on Snapchat. And apparently, unfortunately, the child allegedly exchanged naked pictures, and which then turned the conversation into blackmail. So the people who messaged this kid and got these horrible pictures then basically started to blackmail the kid by saying, like, if you don't send more pictures and do weirder stuff, including with another child, that they would send the content to his parents, to his coach in sports, to a religious pastor, and things like that. So, of course, the kid did not want his whole fucking social life to be ruined by this, so he complied with the orders of these people, did involve another child in the content, and sent this all to these fucking weirdos over, I guess, eventually it ended up on Twitter somehow. It doesn't necessarily say that it was directly sent through Twitter, as it was apparently taking place on Snapchat and other platforms, but somehow the content ended up on Twitter. He blocks these people, they stop harassing him. But then in 2019, two known child abuse accounts, okay? Two accounts that were known at the time to be sharing this kind of content on Twitter openly, ended up posting pictures and videos of this kid doing some horrible shit. And, of course, this is CP that we're talking about. We're talking about some Club Penguin here. This is not any sort of consensual thing. We're talking about a 13-year-old child here, okay? And I'm gonna go ahead and say, to preface this, I don't know how there's people in society that genuinely defend this shit. There are people who legitimately defend people who act this way and think that this is okay. They think that this is like an acceptable thing to do. It wouldn't have been an acceptable thing to do, in all reality, if this was like an adult, okay? To just share revenge pictures and shit and blackmail them on the internet. That would have never have been right to begin with, but the fact that we're talking about a fucking kid who was blackmailed is even worse. Like, that's horrible. So the family of the victim then went to Twitter, and this was because parents had contacted the school and had to make police reports. They then filed a claim with Twitter and reached out to them saying that there were 2 tweets depicting CP of this kid that needed to be removed because they were illegal, harmful, and were in violation of the site's policies, which led up to a Twitter support agent asking for a copy of the kid's ID so they could prove that it was him. The kid then complied. There was no response from Twitter for over a week, according to the family. And around the same time, 2 complaints, of course, were filed to Twitter regarding the same material by the mother. And for a week, she received 0 responses from Twitter about the subject. And then on January 28th, Twitter finally replies and says that they would not be taking down the material, which at this point had already racked up over 167,000 views and well over 2,200 retweets, and basically told this family to go fuck themselves. Now, with this detail in mind, Twitter sees this, they verify that it's a child in the video, okay? And then say, no, we're not doing anything about it. So when I thought, like, my first thoughts about this situation, as I was learning about it, I was thinking, like, okay, so there had to have been a reason that Twitter said no. And it had to have been a pretty good fucking reason, right? Because, like, this is some next level, horrible, terrible type stuff going on. But no, Twitter literally just stepped in and did nothing about this situation, knowing full well what was going on. They had the identification. They knew what was going on. They didn't even attempt to file this forward to law enforcement, from what it seems. They literally took 0 action in a situation that involved a child being the victim of predators and content that was absolutely disturbing. So they said, and I quote, according to the response, "Thanks for reaching out. We've reviewed the content and didn't find a violation in our policies, so no action will be taken at this time. If you believe there's a potential copyright infringement, please start a new report. If the content is hosted on a third-party website, you need to contact that website's support team to report it. Your safety is the most important thing, and if you believe you're in danger, we encourage you to contact your local authorities." So apparently, according to Twitter, it was not a violation of their policies to upload literal fucking Club Penguin of a 13-year-old child and an unnamed other child, okay, that had to be involved in this because of the blackmail. That isn't a violation of your policies. That's weird, because it's a violation of federal fucking law in pretty much every country that I can think of, but it's not something that goes against your policies. So if I say, go fuck yourself to the wrong person on Twitter, I can be permanently suspended. But if someone uploads literal fucking CP to the website on a predator page, that's not against your policies. That's something that you can't take action on there, even though the cops can literally put you in jail. Twitter can't find any reason to do anything? Okay, that makes sense, Twitter. You guys you really thought that one through. So I just also want to know here, 167,000 views, 2,000 plus, who the fuck is watching this? Like, who's going to these pages and, like, looking at this shit, bro? Who the fuck is retweeting this, right? Like, what kind of weirdo do you have to be, bro? Where you're just like, you know what? I've thought about it, bro, and I think this is what I'm gonna put on my Twitter account. Like, don't get me wrong, I tweet and say some reckless, ignorant shit on my Twitter to make people laugh, but bro, what the fuck? Like, they need to figure out everybody who was, like, part of this page, like, following this page, anything like that, and they need to be turned over to the FBI, bro, because, like, this is just, I can't even fucking believe that a company would openly allow something like this to happen on their platform and then stand behind it, bro, in the face of legal action. And it even goes deeper. Apparently, the actual, like, reference number for the local law enforcement that the police reports were filed through, that wasn't enough to get Twitter to take action either. In fact, nothing was done until the Department of Homeland Security stepped in, okay? An agent from the Department of Homeland Security, through a mutual contact, successfully had the videos removed on January 30th. So these were up for days, just, you know, getting watched. And Twitter openly did nothing about it until the federal fucking government, one of the highest authoritative figures in the country, being an agent of the Department of Homeland Security, had to step in and do something about it. The lawsuit also alleges that Twitter profited directly from this by advertising on the content or around the tweets advertising around the content, so that is also very possible. The fact that I can't understand how any person would have gone through all of this, right? Like, they got the police report numbers, they got the federal government involved, they have the ID of the kid from the video, legal action is being taken, okay? It's being reported, right? And a company as big as Twitter sees this shit happen, and they're like, nah, I don't think we're gonna do anything about this one today. You guys can go fuck yourselves, though. Like, that is absolutely mind-boggling to me. And unfortunately, these are the last details I want to share here. If this didn't hammer home enough for you, go ahead and take a look at this one, okay? So, the only reason that this kid became aware of the tweets, and this was in January of 2020, was because they'd been viewed widely by his classmates, which subjected him to teasing, harassment, and vicious bullying that led him to become suicidal. So we have a 13 or 14-year-old kid who gets blackmailed into Club Penguin, okay, with another kid, right? Very fucking traumatic experience. Nothing to joke about, bro. Like, if I knew of this situation, this would not have been something that we were bullying kids about in school. This is not something that people would have been fucking making fun of. So his classmates see this blackmail CP of him, okay, doing nasty, terrible shit, and they're making fun of him. Like, bro, what the fuck? I'm not gonna sit here and act like I've never been an asshole, but bro, that's taking it too far. Thank you guys for watching, though. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. Thank you to my channel members. Your support helps my channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, not getting this at all, and signing out.